As the Kansas City Chiefs gear up for the 2025 NFL season, their quest for a historic three-peat Super Bowl title promises high-stakes battles against formidable opponents. With Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and a revamped roster featuring new draft picks and undrafted free agents, UDFAs, the Chiefs face a challenging schedule packed with pivotal games. From divisional rivalries to potential playoff previews, these matchups will define Kansas City's path to another championship. Below, we highlight 5 key matchups to watch in the 2025 season, focusing on critical player battles, strategic showdowns, and their implications for the Chiefs' campaign. The Chiefs open their home slate against the Cincinnati Bengals in a rematch of recent AFC Championship classics. This quarterback duel between Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow is must-watch football. Mahomes, coming off another MVP-caliber season in 2024, threw for 4,183 yards and 27 touchdowns, per NFL.com. Burrow, fully healthy in 2024, countered with 4,641 yards and 34 touchdowns, leading the Bengals to the AFC North title. Both quarterbacks thrive in high-pressure situations, making this early season clash a potential playoff preview. The Chiefs and Bengals have split their last 6 meetings, with each game decided by a touchdown or less. Cincinnati's offensive line, bolstered by 2025 draft pick Amarius Mims, will test Kansas City's pass rush, led by Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. On the flip side, the Chiefs' receiving corps, potentially featuring UDFA Elijah Badger, faces a Bengals secondary anchored by Cam Taylor-Britt. Defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo's ability to disguise coverages against Burrow's quick reads will be critical. A win here sets the tone for Kansas City's AFC dominance. Watch Mahomes' connection with tight end Travis Kelce against Bengals linebacker Jermaine Pratt. Pratt's 112 tackles in 2024 and coverage skills make him a threat to Kelce, who remains Mahomes' go-to target in clutch moments. If Kelce exploits Pratt's occasional over-pursuit, the Chiefs' offense could roll. A divisional road game against the Denver Broncos pits the Chiefs' offensive line, featuring rookie UDFA ESA Pohl as a potential backup against a ferocious Denver pass rush. The Broncos, under Sean Payton, added edge rusher Jonah Ellis in the 2025 draft, complementing veterans like Nick Bonitto, who had 8.5 sacks in 2024. Kansas City's line, anchored by Joe Thuney and Creed Humphrey, struggled with consistency at tackle in 2024, making this matchup a proving ground. The Chiefs have dominated the AFC West, winning 9 straight division titles, but Denver's resurgence under rookie quarterback Bo Nix, 2,897 yards, 18 touchdowns in 2024, makes them a threat. Protecting Mahomes is paramount, as Denver's defense ranked 6th in sacks, 48, last year. If Pohl or starter DJ Humphries can neutralize Ellis and Bonitto, Kansas City's offense should exploit a young Broncos secondary. However, a disruptive Denver front could expose the Chiefs' line woes, especially with Rashee Rice's status uncertain. Focus on left tackle, Pohl or Humphries, versus Bonitto. Bonitto's speed, 4.52-second 40-yard dash, challenges slower tackles, and Pohl's technique, allowing 0 sacks in 498 pass-blocking snaps at Washington State in 2024, will be tested. A clean pocket for Mahomes could lead to big plays against Denver's safeties. A Super Bowl 57 rematch brings the Philadelphia Eagles to Arrowhead Stadium, pitting the Chiefs' secondary against Jalen Hurts' dual-threat prowess. Hurts, who ran for 684 yards and 12 touchdowns in 2024, also threw for 3,811 yards, per ESPN. Kansas City's secondary, featuring Trent McDuffie and UDFA Melvin Smith Jr., must contain Hurts' legs while covering receivers A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. This inter-conference clash could foreshadow a Super Bowl matchup. The Eagles' offensive line, one of the NFL's best, will challenge Chris Jones and the Chiefs' front, while Philadelphia's pass rush, led by Haason Reddick, targets Mahomes. Spagnuolo's defense, which allowed just 183.6 passing yards per game in 2024, 5th in the NFL, relies on McDuffie's versatility and Smith's ball skills to limit big plays. A strong performance here boosts Kansas City's confidence against elite NFC foes. McDuffie versus A.J. Brown is the matchup to watch. Brown's 1,456 receiving yards in 2024 highlight his dominance, but McDuffie's 81.7 PFF coverage grade and physicality make him a worthy adversary. If McDuffie shadows Brown effectively, Smith could feast on underneath routes or errant Hurts throws. A late-season trip to Orchard Park pits the Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills in a clash of coaching titans. Andy Reid's creative play calling, which generated 386.9 offensive yards per game in 2024, faces Sean McDermott's adaptable defense. The Bills, led by Josh Allen, 4,306 passing yards, 29 touchdowns in 2024, revamped their secondary with 2025 draft pick Cole Bishop, aiming to slow Kansas City's passing attack. The Chiefs-Bills rivalry has defined recent AFC playoffs, with Kansas City holding a 3-2 edge in their last 5 meetings. Buffalo's defense, which ranked 9th in points allowed, 20.1 per game, in 2024, uses varied coverages to confuse quarterbacks. Reid's ability to exploit mismatches, potentially with UDFA Brandon George at linebacker in sub-packages, will determine if Mahomes can dissect Buffalo's secondary. This game could decide home field advantage in the playoffs. Reid's screen game versus Buffalo linebacker Matt Milano. Milano's 104 tackles and 3 interceptions in 2024 showcase his range, but Reid's screens to Isaiah Pacheco or Badger could exploit Milano's aggressive pursuit. If the Chiefs win this chess match, their offense could light up the scoreboard. Regular season with a divisional showdown against the Los Angeles Chargers, featuring a battle between Steve Spagnuolo's blitz-heavy defense and quarterback Justin Herbert. Herbert threw for 4,021 yards and 26 touchdowns in 2024, thriving under new coach Jim Harbaugh. Spagnuolo, whose defense led the NFL with a 28.6% blitz rate in 2024, will dial up pressure to rattle Herbert. The Chargers, revitalized by Harbaugh and 2025 draft pick J.J. McCarthy as a backup, are a rising AFC West threat. Kansas City's defense, bolstered by UDFA Melvin Smith Jr. and rookie Jeff Bassa, must contain receivers like Ladd McConkey while pressuring Herbert. The Chiefs' 13-4 record against the Chargers since 2018 gives them an edge, but a late-season loss could jeopardize playoff seeding. This game tests Kansas City's ability to close strong. Chris Jones versus Chargers right tackle Joe Alt, a 2024 first-round pick, held up well as a rookie, but Jones' 10.5 sacks and 32 pressures in 2024 make him a nightmare. If Jones dominates, Herbert's rhythm could falter, giving Kansas City's secondary chances for turnovers. The Chiefs' 2025 schedule is a gauntlet, with 9 games against 2024 playoff teams, per NFL.com. These 5 matchups highlight critical tests: Mahomes' poise against elite quarterbacks, the offensive line's growth, the secondary's playmaking, Reid's strategic brilliance, and Spagnuolo's defensive aggression. New additions like UDFA's Elijah Badger, ESA Pohl, Melvin Smith Jr., Brandon George, and punter Eddie Zaplicki could tip the scales in tight games, especially on special teams or in depth roles. Kansas City's depth will be tested by injuries and potential suspensions, such as Rashee Rice's uncertain status. The integration of rookies and UDFAs, showcased during the May 3 to 5, 2025 rookie minicamp, will be crucial. Preseason performances by Badger, Pohl, and Smith could solidify their roles, while veterans like Kelsey and Jones anchor the roster. The Kansas City Chiefs' 2025 season is poised for drama, with matchups against the Bengals, Broncos, Eagles, Bills, and Chargers shaping their Super Bowl aspirations. From Mahomes-Burrow shootouts to Spagnuolo's blitzes against Herbert, these games feature defining player battles and coaching chess matches. Keep an eye on emerging UDFAs like Badger, Pohl, and Smith, who could make game-changing plays. As the Chiefs chase history, these key matchups will determine if they can cement their dynasty with another Lombardi Trophy in 2025. The Kansas City Chiefs enter the 2025 NFL season as 2-time defending Super Bowl champions, aiming for an unprecedented three-peat. Led by Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and a roster blending veterans with fresh talent from the 2025 draft and undrafted free agents, UDFAs, the Chiefs face a grueling schedule filled with high-stakes games. From AFC rivalries to cross-conference clashes, these matchups will shape Kansas City's path to another title. Below, we spotlight 5 critical matchups to watch in the 2025 season, diving into key player battles, tactical showdowns, and their significance for the Chiefs' championship pursuit. The Chiefs kick off the 2025 season at Arrowhead Stadium against the Baltimore Ravens, a rematch of the 2024 AFC Championship. This game pits Kansas City's offensive line, potentially featuring UDFA ESA Pohl as a swing tackle, against Baltimore's ferocious front seven. The Ravens, led by Roquan Smith, 145 tackles in 2024, and 2025 draft pick Adissa Isaac, ranked 4th in the NFL with 50 sacks last season, per NFL.com. Protecting Mahomes, who threw for 4,183 yards and 27 touchdowns in 2024, is the priority. The Chiefs-Ravens rivalry has produced thrilling games, with Kansas City winning 3 of their last 4 meetings by narrow margins. Baltimore's aggressive defense, coordinated by Zach Orr, thrives on disrupting quarterbacks, while their offense, powered by Lamar Jackson, challenges Kansas City's run defense. The Chiefs' offensive line, anchored by Creed Humphrey but shaky at tackle in 2024, must hold up against Baltimore's pressure to unleash Mahomes' deep passing game to Xavier Worthy and UDFA Elijah Badger. An opening win sets a strong tone for the season. Left tackle DJ Humphries, or ESA Pole, versus edge rusher Kyle Van Noy. Van Noy's 9.5 sacks in 2024 highlight his veteran savvy, while Pole's pristine pass blocking, 0 sacks allowed in 498 snaps at Washington State, could stabilize the line. If the Chiefs' tackles neutralize Van Noy, Mahomes can exploit Baltimore's secondary, which lost Geno Stone in free agency. A Week 4 divisional road game against the Los Angeles Chargers tests Patrick Mahomes against Jim Harbaugh's revitalized defense. The Chargers, bolstered by 2025 draft pick J.J. McCarthy as a backup and a secondary led by Derwin James, allowed just 19.8 points per game in 2024, 7th in the NFL. Mahomes' ability to dissect Harbaugh's zone-heavy schemes, which mix man coverage, will determine if Kansas City's offense, potentially featuring UDFA Brandon George in sub-packages, maintains its rhythm. The Chiefs have owned the Chargers, winning 13 of their last 15 matchups, but Harbaugh's disciplined approach makes Los Angeles a tougher out. Justin Herbert's 4,021 yards and 26 touchdowns in 2024 keep the Chargers' offense dangerous, while their defense aims to limit big plays. Kansas City's receiving core, possibly without Rashee Rice due to injury or suspension, relies on Mahomes' improvisation and UDFA Elijah Badger's YAC ability. A road win solidifies the Chiefs' AFC West grip. Mahomes versus safety Derwin James. James' 108 tackles and 4 interceptions in 2024 make him a playmaker, but Mahomes' 68.4% completion rate on deep passes, per PFF, could target James in coverage. If Mahomes manipulates James with play action, Travis Kelce could feast over the middle. A Week 9 showdown brings the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to Kansas City, pitting the Chiefs' secondary against Baker Mayfield's passing attack. Mayfield threw for 4,044 yards and 28 touchdowns in 2024, leaning on receivers Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Kansas City's defensive backs, including Trent McDuffie and UDFA Melvin Smith Jr., must contain Tampa's aerial assault while Steve Spagnuolo's defense, 28.6% blitz rate in 2024, pressures Mayfield. This inter-conference clash tests the Chiefs against a playoff-caliber NFC foe. Tampa's offensive line, anchored by Tristan Wirfs, will challenge Chris Jones and George Karlaftis, while the Buccaneers' pass rush, led by Yaya Diaby, targets Mahomes. The Chiefs' secondary, which allowed 183.6 passing yards per game in 2024, 5th in the NFL, relies on McDuffie's lockdown coverage and Smith's ball hawking, 9 college interceptions. A dominant defensive performance boosts Kansas City's Super Bowl credentials. McDuffie versus Mike Evans. Evans' 1,255 receiving yards in 2024 and physicality test McDuffie's 81.7 PFF coverage grade. If McDuffie limits Evans, Smith could capitalize on Mayfield's riskier throws, potentially swinging the game with a turnover. A late-season road game against the Pittsburgh Steelers pits Andy Reid's offensive creativity against T.J. Watt's game-wrecking pass rush. Watt, the 2024 NFL sack leader with 12.5, anchors a Steelers defense that ranked 8th in points allowed, 20.3 per game. Reid's play calling, which generated 386.9 offensive yards per game in 2024, must scheme around what to protect Mahomes and unlock UDFA Elijah Badger or rookie Jeff Bassa. The Steelers, led by Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, remain a physical challenge, especially at Acrisure Stadium. Pittsburgh's secondary, featuring Joey Porter Jr., will test Kansas City's receivers, while the Chiefs' defense, potentially with UDFA Brandon George at linebacker, faces a tough Steelers run game. This game could impact AFC playoff seeding, with Kansas City aiming for home field advantage. Reid's ability to use motion and quick passes to neutralize what is key. Right tackle Jawan Taylor versus T.J. Watt. Taylor's 12 penalties in 2024 expose vulnerabilities, and Watt's 42 pressures, per PFF, exploit mistakes. If Taylor holds up, Mahomes can target Pittsburgh safeties with Isaiah Pacheco or Kelsey, opening the passing game. A December clash at Arrowhead against the Buffalo Bills features Steve Spagnuolo's aggressive defense against Josh Allen's dual-threat brilliance. Allen threw for 4,306 yards and 29 touchdowns while rushing for 524 yards in 2024. Spagnuolo's unit, which led the NFL in blitz rate and recorded 41 sacks, relies on Chris Jones and UDFA Melvin Smith Jr. to disrupt Allen's rhythm and contain receivers like Khalil Shakir. The Chiefs-Bills rivalry has defined recent AFC playoffs, with Kansas City holding a slight edge. Buffalo's defense, revamped with 2025 draft pick Cole Bishop, challenges Mahomes, while Allen's ability to extend plays tests Kansas City's discipline. A win here could secure a first-round bye, critical for the Chiefs' postseason run. Spagnuolo's exotic pressures and Smith's playmaking, 46 passes defensed in college, could force Allen into mistakes. Chris Jones versus Bills center Connor McGovern. Jones' 10.5 sacks in 2024 make him a matchup nightmare, and McGovern's 78.2 PFF pass blocking grade is solid but vulnerable. If Jones collapses the pocket, Allen's scrambles could lead to turnovers, giving the Chiefs' offense short fields. The Chiefs' 2025 schedule includes 10 games against 2024 playoff teams, per NFL.com, making every week a test. These matchups highlight Kansas City's challenges: fortifying the offensive line, leveraging Mahomes' brilliance, tightening the secondary, outsmarting elite defenses, and stopping dynamic quarterbacks. UDFAs like ESA Poll, Elijah Badger, Melvin Smith Jr., and Brandon George, showcased at the May 3 to 5, 2025 rookie minicamp, could play pivotal roles, especially on special teams or in rotational spots. Uncertainty around Rashee Rice's availability and tackle position battles elevate the importance of rookies and UDFAs. Veterans like Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and Trent McDuffie provide stability, but contributions from new faces, potentially including punter Eddie Zaplicki in field position battles, could swing close games. Preseason performances will clarify these players' roles. The Kansas City Chiefs' 2025 season is a thrilling journey toward history, with matchups against the Ravens, Chargers, Buccaneers, Steelers, and Bills defining their Super Bowl path. From the offensive line stand against Baltimore's pass rush to Spagnuolo's schemes against Josh Allen, these games feature marquee battles and strategic duels. Emerging UDFAs like Badger, Pohl, and Smith could provide the spark Kansas City needs in tight contests. As the Chiefs chase a third straight Lombardi trophy, these key matchups will reveal whether they can cement their dynasty in 2025.